This is the second of the two algorithms that we need to discuss today. This algorithm allows us to make a machine for languages, for a language that is a combination of properties. For example, this top machine up here on the left is a substring machine. It is, as you can see from this backbone, for the language of strings that do contain BAAB. This machine over here, hopefully you recognize this as a complement machine now. Originally we drew the machine for strings that do contain ABA, but then we took its complement using that flip the states algorithm, and now we have this machine for strings that do not contain ABA. The algorithm that I want to teach you is one that would let you make a machine for strings that do contain BAAB and do not contain ABA. It's a combination of properties. You can get really complicated doing combinations of properties. You can do strings that do contain BAAB, do not contain ABA, have a multiple of 7 B's, and do not have a multiple of 3 A's. Now, just drawing one machine from scratch, trying to incorporate all of those properties at the same time is hard. It's not hard to separate the properties and do individual machines for each property. And then we use this algorithm that I want to show you to make a combination machine. That combination machine can be turned into either an intersection machine or a union machine, which means you can first draw the combination machine and then decide whether you want it to be the AND of the properties. For example, do contain BAAB and do not contain ABA, or whether you want it to be a union machine, meaning you would make a machine for strings that either contain BAAB or do not contain ABA. You can hold off on that decision, whether you want it to be a union machine or an intersection machine, until after you've drawn the combination machine, because that part, the combination, is the same for both. Now, I want you to think about what it would be like to run the same string through both of these machines simultaneously, keeping track of where you are in each machine. Now, suppose the string you're going to run through here is just the string BAAB. So you'd run the B, and this machine would go to state 2, and this machine would still be in state A. Now you run the letter A, the second letter of the string. This machine progresses to state 3. This machine goes to state B. Now you run the second A through the machine. This one progresses to 4. This one stays in B. And now you run B, the last letter of the string. This one goes to state 5. This one goes to state C. And actually, both machines would accept the string BAAB, because that string does contain BAAB, does not contain ABA. What if you ran the string ABA through both machines simultaneously? In this machine, the first letter of the string A would take you to state 1. The first letter of the string would take you to state B over here. So you are in states 1 and B. Now the letter B over here takes you to 2. Over here takes you to C. So you are now in states 2 and C simultaneously. The last letter of the string A takes you to 3, takes you to D. And you are now in states 3 and D, neither of which is an accept state, and so that particular string would not get accepted because it does not contain BAAB, and it does contain ABA, which is disallowed. The idea that I'm trying to get in your head, and probably painfully drilling it there, is that if you run a string through both machines simultaneously, you are in two states at the same time. The combination machine simply produces those pairings of states and turns each pairing into a single state. So here's how we do the combination. We make a start state for our new combination machine that is the combination of the two start states, state 1, state A. Now at this point we are not deciding whether to make a state be an accept state or not. We're simply laying out the machine with all of its transitions. Later we'll take a look at which states should be accept states, and that will depend on whether or not we're making a union or an intersection machine. Now, so at the beginning we only have this one state. It's the combination of the two start states. We need to keep making states as long as our algorithm turns up states that we don't yet have. So we ask ourselves, if we are in states 1 and A, and we get the letter A, where do we go? So we look back at our machines. The letter A from state 1 takes you back to 1. The letter A from state A takes you to B. So you would be in 1 over here, in B over here. That's a combination of 1 and B, and you don't have that state yet down here. So you draw the state 1B, and you send an A transition to it. Now you say, if I'm in 1 and A and I get a letter B, where do I go? 1 takes you to 2, and A takes you back to A. So that's a combination of 2 and A. Don't have that one yet, so you put that in and you make a B transition to that, and then you just keep going. So let us keep going from here, and if you've printed out your paper, please go ahead and write on your paper. Alright, so if we are in 1 and B, where do we go on A? If you look back up here at this machine, state 1 on the letter A takes you back to 1. Over here, state B on the letter A takes you to B. That's a combination of 1 and B. We already have that, so we go around and back on the letter A. If we're in 1 and B and we get a letter B, where do we go? We would go to 2 and to C. We don't have that yet, so on B, we need to go to 2 and C. Now let's do state 2A. If we're in 2 and we get an A, we'll go to 3. If we are in A and we get an A, we'll go to B. So that is a combination of 3 and B, and we should go there on the letter A. If we're in 2 and A and we get a B, then we go to 2A, back to 2A. So we just go right straight back where we were. We'll just keep going now. If we are in 2 and C and we get an A, 2 would go to 3, C would go to D. So we make a combination of 3 and D. That brings up something I need to tell you. Be sure that you have explicit traps in these machines that you're making the combination of, because sometimes you would need to go to that trap. Every state needs a way to go on A and a way to go on B. Now I forgot where I was going. 2 went to 3 and C went to D. So I need a 3D right here. Alright, 2C on the letter B goes to 2A. Do I have a 2A? Yes, I already have a 2A. It's down here. Alright, let's do state 3B. 3 on A goes to 4, B on A goes to B. I need a 4B, and I don't have that yet. Three and B on the letter B goes to 2C. Well, I have a 2C. It's right there. 3D. 3D on the letter A goes to 4D. Three D on the letter B goes to 2D. I don't have that yet. All right, let's do 4B. On the letter A, we go to 1B. Oh dear. I've got to do a crisscrossy thing here, I guess. 4B on the letter A. Goes to 1B. And 4B on the letter B. 4 goes to 5. B goes to C, so I need a 5C. Sometimes these combination machines get big, and this one's getting kind of big. What did I say? 5C, I started to write B, but I think it's C. 4B on the letter B goes to 5C. 5C. Okay, hopefully we're not going to get all that much bigger. 4D on the letter A goes to 1D. 1D. I don't have that yet. Four D on the letter B goes to 5D. 5D I don't have yet. Who made up this example anyway? Oh, me. 2D on the letter A goes to 3D. 3D, okay, good, I have that one. 2D on the letter B goes to 2D. Good. 5C on A goes to 5D. Alright, we have that one. And 5, ooh, sorry. Let me pause. Okay, sorry, that was Ramon Tashikori. I don't know if you all know him, but he had to go to Elon today, and he barely made it there. He's got the office right next to mine. He was worried that I had tried to go out because there was a big 18-wheeler trying to get up my hill. I live right on the top of Wilson Ridge Road, and that 18-wheeler couldn't climb the hill and had tied up traffic really badly right there. So that would have blocked my way out that direction, and somebody else told me there was trouble over on Deerfield that would have blocked my way out the other direction. So I'm really glad I am here. Okay, so where were we? Looks like I had found a pathway for an A but not a B here. So 5C on B goes back to 5, goes to A. So I need a 5A. Oh, good grief. How big is this thing going to get? B on, or it goes to 5A. I don't think we can make that many more states. Okay, 1D on the letter A goes to 1D. And on the letter B goes to 2D. Okay, crisscross city here. 5D on the letter A and on the letter B, I see, goes right back to itself. 5A on the letter A goes to 5B. Oh, brother. Five A on the letter B goes to 5A. Now let's do this guy and hope for the best. 5B on the letter A goes to 5B. And on the letter B goes to 5C. All right, good. There. There's our mess of a machine. Now, we need to decide which states are going to be accept states. And that depends on whether we are doing an and of these two machines, an intersection in other words, or whether we are doing an or, a union. In our case, we were to make an intersection machine, meaning that the strings we want to accept have to have both properties. They have to contain BAAB and not contain ABA. In that case, then accept states have to be an and two, which means they have to be a pair of accept states. So it would be states such as 5A, because both of those are accept states in their relative machines. So would 5B, and so would 5C. So let's see, do we have any of those? Yes, here's 5A, so that would become an accept state. And here's 5B, so that becomes an accept state. Do we have 5C? Yes, we do, and here it is, 5C. And there's our finished machine. Now, it could possibly be minimized. This algorithm does not always guarantee the smallest possible machine, but we're not going to fool with that. We know how to minimize if we really cared to do that. We could run that algorithm. Just for a moment, let me tell you which states would be accept states if we were doing a union machine. Union would accept strings that had either this property or this property. And so in that case, any state that had a 5 in it would be an accept state. Any state that had either an A or a B or a C in it would be an accept state. So in addition to these, you would have this state as an accept state because it has a 5 in it. I think that's the only other 5, yes. But how about states with an A in them? This would be an accept state. This would be an accept state. States with a B in them, this would be, this would be, this would be. We'd have a whole lot of accept states. And anything with a C in it, so that would be an accept state. And that's all I see. I could be missing something, but at any rate, a union machine produces a whole lot more accept states typically than an intersection machine. So now let's continue with this handout. Okay, the rest of this handout asks you to make up a problem for yourself that you can practice on, and I imagine that everybody's will be somewhat different. If you were sitting in class, you could work together, save some trouble, and cooperatively do them. But let me explain what this is asking you to do. Suppose you want to make a finite state machine for strings that have, let's see, well, let's make up some stuff. How about strings that have even A's? I'm thinking small, so I'm looking for good things. Start with B. And contain, or maybe we should say, let's make this more interesting. Let's say do not do something. I'm erasing my line here. I'm in Paint, so everything's pixel. Do not contain AA. Now, making this up from scratch might be sort of tough. I mean, you could probably do it. You know it has to start with B, so that gets you going. And then you have to think about your A's because, oh dear. This isn't pretty. It's 11 o'clock. can I talk over top of this? At any rate, that would be harder than it will be if we do the combination thing. So what we want to do is have individual machines for these three things. Now remember, you're going to do your own. You're not necessarily going to do the one I'm doing here. You're going to make up your own. But I just want to show you how mine would come out. Even A's, that's a little bitty machine. I picked little bitty on purpose. So here's the A's, and you're welcome to pick little bitty on purpose too. There's even A's, simple machine. Now, I think what would be handy is if we named these states differently in all of our machines. Next one starts with B, okay? Starts with B. And remember, we need our traps to be explicit. So I'm going to pull A down here to a trap state. I'll name it T for trap. And since I have named that one T, maybe I'll call this one, let's see, what comes before T? S. What comes before S? R. I'll name this R, and this one S, and that one T. All right, so that's the second machine, and does not contain AA. Okay, so let me crowd that one right over here. That's a complement machine. So if I was going to do strings that did contain AA, I'm right near the edge of the video. This would be an except state, but these are going to end up being except states. So let me put the missing transitions in here. Contains AA. So if I get a B, I want to just hang out here waiting. If I've gotten one A and then I get a B, that's messed things up. So I need to come back over here. Alright, so there's my machine, and now these states are my except states because I want the complement does not contain AA. So let's name these states, we've got RST, let's try CDE, capital C, capital D, capital E. Okay. Now when you do a combination of three things, you can do them all at the same time, or you can do them pairwise. So I could make a combination of these two, and then make a combination of that with the third one. Up to you, whichever way you decide to go. I think I'll be brave and do them all at the same time. So my start state is going to be 1 RC. 1 for the first machine, R for the second machine, C for the third machine. Looks like IRC, that company. Okay. 1 RC on the letter A goes to 2 T D, 2 TD, 2 TD, and on the letter B goes to 1 S C, 1 SC. I'll do a little bit more and then we'll quit this and you can just make up your own problem and do it for yourself. 2 TD on the letter A goes to 1 T E, 1 T E, and on the letter B 2 TD. Okay, goes to 2 T C, okay, so then I would finish this. Now because we wanted the AND of all of these things, then our except states are there's only two possibilities. 1 SC or 1 SD. Those are our only, so here's an except state right here. 1 SC is going to be an except state for us. And the only other possible one is 1SD. And who knows if that will turn up or not. Sometimes you do a combination machine and the only possible accept states don't occur. That's because the intersection of those two conditions is empty. For example, suppose you were doing strings that start with A intersected with strings that start with B. Well, there aren't any strings that start with both A and B, and so that intersection is going to be empty, which means that particular combination of states, where you get the accept states of the two machines, it's not going to arise in the process that you use to create the machine. If you were doing something like have even A's and start with B, or do not contain AA, well then you don't do them all at the same time. You make an intersection machine using AND for these two, and then you take that machine and you do a union machine with that and this one. Does that make sense? You kind of have to think about each problem in its own unique way and arrange your use of this algorithm according to what exactly you're trying to do. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please email me or call me on the phone. Here's my home phone number. 828 is the area code. And let me know that you have questions. In order to have the points for today's stuff, please do a little something with that complement worksheet where you're summarizing and then describing how to make a complement regular expression, and make up this problem for yourself and do that, and then you can turn that in when you come back to class, and that will get you your points for today. All right. Hope you have a good snow day, and hope you got back home safely if you came out in this bad weather.